Folks, it's time for a race of Little Samson. That's a cool game.
You know him. You love him.
Have you beaten this?
I have. I used to speedrun this.
Nice. Like the plot of the dragon learning to trust the little human man.
All I really remember of the plot is that the dragon was like a human transformed.
Oh, is that
and
right?
that's pretty much all I recall.
I didn't know that. What I remember the plot is the dragon doesn't really seem to like the human, and by the end of it, he jumps in the way of like some kind of, you know, takes the shot for the human so that they don't die. That's what I remember. So
Well, that's awful nice of him.
Pals, yeah. I think let me see why subwoofer screen is all screwed up all of a sudden. I think they did something. But everyone else is ready.
Okay. I will check to see if they're ready.
They were up. Cropped everybody. We're good to go otherwise. This will be a cool one.
Alright, I'm giving them the high sign. Hopefully we get subwoofers back.
Yep, there it goes. They have 30 minutes. The clock is on. As far as they can, we're pulling audio from Akami Games, known champion of these mystery races.
So the first 4 stages you can do in any order. This is basically you just like learning the ropes of how each of the characters plays individually. And then once you get into the actual main game, you can swap between them interchangeably. And they all play really differently. None of them are the same. You have Samson here, who does all these spin jumps and can grab onto walls. That's pretty cool. He can hang from the ceiling. He shoots these little projectiles. Then there's Gom, who's the golem. He has a really strong punch, so it's close range, but it extends out pretty far. He's really strong, has a decent amount of health, but he can't jump or anything. There's Key, which is the mouse, and Key has bombs that he lays that explode and deal a pretty good amount of damage, but has almost no health. And then there's the dragon, whose name I can't remember. We're gonna call her Dragon. And she can obviously fly, at least for short periods of time, and has a projectile as well. I think it's like a tornado that you shoot.
That sounds right. So yeah, you can use all 4 of these characters at once eventually. That's not going to be this one at a time thing that's currently going on until they get out of the tutorial. Basically a little section for each hero.
And then this will culminate with a small boss fight where you actually have to fight the dragon. Or a clone of the dragon? Again, I don't really remember the plot all that well.
Gadrungus.
That's definitely not correct.
Gadrungus.
Please do not listen to Zerk. I don't know what the dragon's name is, but I feel like I'd remember that one.
This is one of those games I don't feel like there's any dialogue at all. So, put the plot together with mimicry or whatever.
I think it's mostly from the manual, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't read that.
Okami on Gom's stage right now. Not a character you really want to be playing a lot in the platforming stages, but I mean his punch is pretty strong, and he has the most base health of anyone. If you're trying to go fast, the choice is almost always to play as the mouse, because he runs the fastest, he can run up walls, pretty small hitbox. The problem is that it's real glass cannon stuff. Probably the strongest character in the game is Key, though it's not obvious unless you kind of figure out how to use his abilities well, but then can only take 2 hits by default.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. the other characters have 5, 6, and I think 8 health.
Yeah, and you can increase the base health if you find the little heart in a bubble inside the stages. It'll increase your base health. But by default, Key has nothing. KO, not Key. Thank you. I was close. Those bombs are absurdly strong, too. Most of the boss fights in this game, in the speedrun, are just situating KO either inside or very close to a boss's hitbox and just spamming bombs.
Golem Man.
We got Okami on the end of the tutorial section. Is a little fight against the dragon. Not too bad.
This is, I guess, why I thought that they weren't friends.
I don't remember why you're fighting the dragon at this point, if I ever knew.
Kami has won the dragon battle.
At this point, you can just switch between characters in the pause menu anytime you want to, which is kind of nice because they basically all have their own health meters, so if you're struggling casually, you basically just get 4 health meters to run around with.
I don't think anyone else has made it to that boss yet. But now that Okami is in the proper game, you can switch between any of the 4 at will, almost like Demon's Crest or something like that, Mega Man. So you have access to all these little powers and movement abilities, which is extremely cool.
Now, it's been a long time since I played, but if I remember correctly, and I think I do, this game has some branching paths to it, so it's not completely linear. Like, if you go into a stage, certain exits will take you down different routes. So I'll be interested to see whether or not there is any variance. I don't think it's necessarily obvious how to get each of the different paths. It has a branching path. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it's specifically the riding the crab that I remember.
Kami's fighting the Reaper with the bombs. Damn, that's damage. Wow.
It's massive.
Reaper hates it. Oh, here's this beast. What the... I don't remember any of this. I just remember, like, the gameplay, I guess. I don't remember any of the fights. I don't think I had a hard time because ultimately, not only do you have 4 weapons and movement abilities, you also have 4 health bars. And that is a lot of energy to throw at anything.
For sure.
Even though one of them is 2, as you said, you still have a ton of health between the dragon and the human and the golem. As long as you play it well, you can just keep that rolling.
Kami using his potion to make sure he finishes off the stage successfully, and he does.
How's the continue situation in this?
So I could be remembering this incorrectly. I was trying to find some information when I was setting up the race. They're all playing on normal mode, or at least they've been instructed to play on normal mode. In easy mode, if you die, you start the stage over just like normal. If you die in normal mode, I think you lose access to a character. So you can get shut out of all the characters except for Samson. As far as when you run out of all your lives, I think you just get to continue back for the beginning of the stage itself.
I'm stuck with saying infinite continues. Patty's working on the boss, Jaspertine and Tarragon. Dude is there. Patty's beating the dragon? No, it's just starting again. A couple people are struggling with this fight. You really gotta out-damage this thing. You can't race it. You gotta evade. We need this game.
The dragon fight at the end of the tutorial?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about finding the rhythm. Like, it's not just stand far away or something like that. You have to, like, specifically dodge the attacks by jumping over them.
That column's so funny. The walk cycle. Bloodfire has made it. Oh, I'm just looking for anyone who can get past the tutorial. It's been 12 minutes. I don't think anyone's gonna have trouble with the first multi-character stage because of the combos, as long as they manage their health bars. Just like a
right.
There's a Ricky Cuneo fighting game where you have 4 characters, and all you really have to do to win is to beat them up is switch between them when they get low. You don't really need to do anything else. It's meant to be 2 players, but
He's making good progress. I'm sure he'd be happier if he had access to the dragon, but that ship sailed, so.
not the only player who realized the bombs are extremely damaging. But man, they have a really short range.
Yes, extremely short.
Oh, annoying to hit this guy with that. Do you get to pick who gets the potion?
I think whoever touches the potion, they have it as their like held item, and they can use it. I don't think you can move it around.
The mouse just took like 5 damage from one hit. That sucks. Here's this. What is this? HD crab from PlayStation. It's photorealistic pixel art.
Yeah, so this is the branching path. If you fail on that boss, you have to do this stage where you ride the crab, and it goes through, I think maybe one other different level. I'm not 100% certain. It's been so long.
It's so good looking. What the hell is wrong with it? What is it doing here? Compared to that plant. Like, that's a decent looking plant. I had no complaints until I saw this crab. This is like if I drew a crab versus this is the crab that somebody else drew.
I'm sure whatever crab you drew would look lovely.
I can draw a nice 8-bit crab for Mario like themed, you know, like it would fit. It wouldn't be this photoshopped thing that is here. My crab would look like that heart. Kind of looks like an ass. Oh no, what do you do here?
They'll call me trying to figure out what to do.
Nice. Nice work. How, can the dragon fly forever?
Maybe? I mean, the dragon can't gain height, but I don't remember if, like, it peters out at some point.
Seems like you're supposed to ride these whirlwinds or whatever.
Yeah, that's what it expects you to do. Okay, so Okami has all of his characters back now.
So what was that crab again? Where did the crab come from? Failing his thing?
Yeah, I think it's if you fall on the boss or die on the boss, something like that, it takes you to that stage.
Is that a thing that shows up every time that happens?
It's a brand new stage that you go to. It's
Okay, a new path. Outright, you don't go back.
no.
Do you get a different ending? Or something?
I don't think it's a different ending, but I don't know the answer to that. Three people fighting this Cyclops boss. I don't know how the numbers shake out on like Mega Man games, but one of the things that's kind of annoying about this game is that just mashing your weakest ability is always stronger than charging anything up.
That's weird. That's a poor decision. Does everyone have a charge?
I know that the dragon does. I'm not sure if anyone else. I mean, the only other character who would have a charge is Samson, but I just know that the strat for the dragon is to mash.
Mega Man hardly ever encourages smashing because you have a limit of pellets on screen at once, and also iframes are huge. So you have a really big, and also you get a piercing shot for charging, and it's a huge projectile. So you have a couple big reasons why you should charge shot, especially on the boss fights where you would want to mash the most.
Right.
So like, you hit a boss with one little pellet, and if you're spamming, you're just gonna do 1 damage in 5 seconds. But if you charge, you're gonna do 6 damage in 5 seconds. Because you're gonna hit him with 2 shots. But they didn't have that until Mega Man 3. No, Mega Man 4 actually. So, kind of a problem with those first 3 games is they don't have charge at all. They still don't really mash in those games though. There are a couple enemies that show up now and then in those series that don't have iframes, and those are the ones you would do that to. Usually mini bosses. What would the heroes do?
I know some games you can mash out some of the fights. I mean, I've seen like the strat for fighting Quickman, but I mean that isn't Quickman before charge was even a thing.
Yeah, he is in Mega Man 2, and also I feel like he's one of the exceptions. The other bosses have iframes, and he doesn't really, because of his, by design, he's kind of an asshole. So he needs less advantage than he gets normally. He's kind of all over the place.
Right. So one of the reasons why we gave them normal mode instead of easy mode, and I would argue that easy mode is probably the preferred way to play this game, is just because this is one of those games where you don't get to play the last level if you're playing on easy mode. One of my least favorite ways to encourage people to play a higher difficulty, but...
Oh yeah. I wonder if the new Contra did that. That's a Contra classic thing in the same way that like Ghouls and Ghosts loves to make you do 2 laps for no reason. The 2-loop finish of Ghouls and Ghosts.
There's some elements of the way that Ghouls and Ghosts does its 2-loop format that I like, and I just wish it didn't require 2 loops.
Yeah?
Like, I like the idea of, okay, now there's a secret weapon that has been revealed for your second playthrough and you need to bring that to the boss. And it's like, that's a cool idea that probably doesn't actually require you to force the player to play twice.
What do you do if your mouse is dead in a situation where Bloodfire is, for example, and you need to climb a wall?
Samson can climb walls too, and Samson can't be locked out.
If he dies, you gotta reset?
No, if he dies, he still appears in the next level. Unlike when the dragon dies, you can't pick the dragon again until you game over. When Samson dies, you still get to play as Samson.
Known as L in the menu.
I wonder if that's a holdover from the Japanese version, because the character's name's Lickle in the Japanese version. L for little. Oh, that's fair. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Lil S. First name Lil.
I'm appropriately sized Samson. Subwoofer's enjoying a nice ride on a crab again.
That little trick at the end might be a tough thing to get through. Fighting the, man. The Reaper on a dead kangaroo? That's not a horse, right?
I mean,
I guess.
whatever it is, it's way too upright. He's riding a centaur skeleton?
That's Pale White Yoshi.
I have to Google something. I've never seen a centaur skeleton. Yes. Okay. I accept these terms. Yep. That looks correct.
Bones where they should be?
Yeah, I mean, the bones seem to be roughly arranged in the order I'd expect them to be.
That's good. Good to hear they got bones.
So we're coming up on the end of this race. It's a little bit tough to call, but the game's linear enough that I think we can say Okami definitely in the lead. There's no question about that. It looks to me like Jaspertine is probably next. After that, it's kind of looking to me like maybe Tarragon. No, I think Bloodfire is on the same. Yeah, Bloodfire is on the same stage as Jaspertine. Then Tarragon. A lot of our players made it further than I would have expected. I wouldn't have expected to see anyone really get to the color block stages. Okami got past there like almost 10 minutes ago, and Jaspertine and Bloodfire are there now, so. Our players, as usual, making me feel like I underestimated them.
90 seconds left. Yep, it wouldn't surprise me if people played this one. I've got a list of some more obscure NES games. This one's like the least obscure of the obscure games, I would say. That makes sense. Like if I had a list of obscure games rated by obscurity, this one would be at the bottom of that list. Because it's a pretty known one for that. It's just one of those games you didn't really have access to in America, but it might even be in the Switch store now.
I feel like these days it's a lot more common for people to be aware of this game because of its reputation for being like a really expensive game.
Yeah, it definitely is a more known one than it was. Kind of like Demon's Crest, which sold at a loss, and now it is a pretty known one, I think. But nobody knew what that game was in 1994. No marketing at all for that one. Ten seconds. One more skull defeated for Tarragon.
No skull stands a chance in the face of Tarragon.
Time.
Alright, well, I'll give them the time.
Didn't expect to clear for this game. It's pretty long, right? Like, probably take an hour.
Probably for players that don't speedrun this, an hour is probably appropriate if you have any familiarity with it.
That's our race. You know better than me who's where ranking.
I've let them know Okami in first and Jaspertine and Bloodfire more or less in second place. With Patty Bees looks like came up right at the end.
All right. That's our race for today. Thanks for playing, everybody. 7 players. That's fun to see. We'll probably not have one next week because I'm doing 4K pits. It seems like that's going to be a little too hard to schedule. But the week after
Don't worry,
that...
Speed Bump fans. I'll be there, though. I'll make sure I show up.
Thanks for joining me out there, Blues. Good race.
Yeah, take care.
Have a good one. Folks, let's find somebody to host, and I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe we'll do Tales of Fantasia some more, or Slay the Spire. Those are the 2 things I'm working on, but I have a lot of marathon stuff this weekend, so tune in for that. Gong Show and all that. If you're a sub, I'm going to be pushing subs and, you know, Patreon and stuff like that this weekend. If you're one of them, you can add to the Gong Show pretty much every month. Just throw one out there. I'm going to host Saga Frontier with PJ. Have a good one.